Hi, my name is Bill, and today's story is a true story about a baby. But this baby was in a lot of danger. Now, it's also a story about God's care. And what I want you to do as I tell the story today is I want you to be looking for all the different ways that God cares for this baby in the story and keeps him safe. Here's some things to be looking for. There will be at least 3 people that care for the baby. There'll be 1 object that the baby can be placed in that will keep the baby safe. And God will even use nature to care for this baby too. Alright, you think you can find all those things in the story? Listen careful. Here's the true story of baby Moses. Now, a long time ago, there was a really mean king. His name was the Pharaoh, and he lived in Egypt. And also in Egypt, there were people called the Israelites. Those were people from Israel. And King Pharaoh did not like the Israelites at all. And so the first thing he did is he turned the Israelites into his slaves. And he made them work really hard. And when they worked so hard they could barely move, he made them work even harder. Now you think with all these people working for you that you'd be happy. But the king wasn't happy at all. He wasn't happy because he knew one more thing about the Israelites. They were having lots of children, and he was afraid that those children would grow up, and someday there would be so many Israelites that he wouldn't be able to rule over them anymore. So he came up with a wicked plan. The plan was to tell his soldiers to go into the homes of all the different Israelites and be looking for babies. And if they found babies that were between the age of 0 and 2, and they were boy babies, the orders were to take those boy babies and throw them into the river. Now you can imagine how scared the families were that had children of those ages that were boys. Now there was one mom who had an idea. This mother made a basket, just big enough for her son, baby Moses. And she covered the basket with something called tar. It's kind of a sticky black substance, but it would waterproof the basket so that the basket could safely float in the water like a boat. Then she took Moses and put him into the basket and took the basket out into the river. And she went over to where there was lots of grasses and bushes, and she hid the basket in those bushes out into the river. And that way, if the soldiers came to her house, they wouldn't find the baby inside. Well, just as an extra precaution, she had her daughter Miriam stand from afar and watch the basket to make sure it was safe. Now, this idea worked pretty well. Until one day something happened. One day the king's daughter, the princess, decided to bathe in that very same river. The same river that Moses was in. And while she was in the water, she heard a baby cry. She turned around and she followed that sound. And she saw the grass. And she pulled aside the grass. And there in the grass was the basket. And she looked inside the basket, and there was the baby, baby Moses. Now you can imagine how scared Miriam was. Miriam was seeing this happen, and she thought, what's the princess going to do? Is she going to take the baby to her father to be killed? Miriam, all she could do was just sit there and watch. Well, you know what? The princess looked down, saw the baby, and picked the baby up and said, "What a precious baby this is. This baby needs somebody to care for it. But who? Who can I get to care for this baby?" And at that point, Miriam came out of hiding and said, "I know who can take care of the baby for you." And she went to get her own mother, Moses' mother. And Moses' mother talked to the princess. And the princess said, "You know what? If you care for this baby, I will let you live in the palace. I will make sure that the baby is safe. And I'll make sure that you're all well taken care of." And so, Miriam, the mother, and baby Moses all got to live in the palace. And Moses was safe there. And the king never harmed him. Wow, that was pretty lucky for Moses, wasn't it? Now remember, at the beginning of the story, I asked you to be looking for some things. Be looking for 3 people that would care for Moses, 1 object that would protect Moses, and for some nature that God sent that would also protect Moses as well. Were you able to find all those things in the story? Well, here are some things that I found that protected Moses. Well, Moses' mother was one person that kept Moses safe. She made the basket to protect him. And of course, Miriam, Moses' sister, watched him from a distance to make sure he was safe. And the princess that provided a place for him to live and kept him safe from her father, the Pharaoh, she also played an important role in making sure that Moses stayed safe. Now, can you think of a special object that kept Moses safe? Yeah, the basket that Moses' mother designed that floated in the water with baby Moses inside it. It helped to hide him from visiting soldiers. And what about nature? What nature did God provide that kept Moses safe? God provided plenty of grass that would hide Moses' basket, and of course the water for the basket to float in. All these things kept Moses safe from harm. Well, a long time ago, God took care of Moses. But God takes care of us too, doesn't He? He gives us people that care for us. There are many objects in this world that are designed to protect us. And also even nature sometimes helps keep us safe. God loves you very, very much. And so when you're scared or you feel that you need somebody, remember God's right there with you wherever you go. He loves you and He'll always be your friend. Well, we'll find out more about Moses in the weeks to come. But until then, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.